I'd like to welcome you to the last missile and rocket firings of the Millennium at White Sands Missile Range. Now we have a great show for you, planned for you today, and we've got great weather. But I want to mention one thing about what we're going to do today, and that is that these two activities that you're going to see today at the beginning are tests. They are real tests. Things that we do, real-life versions of what we do every day. The difference between what we're going to do today and our normal testing and today is the fact that we're going to put a couple of tests in a very short time frame. And, of course, we have about 700 spectators. Something that we normally don't have. But we think we've got a really good program planned for you today. We're going to begin with a hello from our commander. And then we're going to have a short historical briefing on this place upon which you're residing at this time. We're going to follow that with a shot of the day briefing by our Patriot missile engineer and then the actual Patriot launch. Following that, we will have a shot of the day briefing from our multiple launch rocket system project engineer and then a two-shot ripple, followed by a continuation of the shot of the day briefing and then a 12-shot ripple.
General Horn, General Garcia, Mr. Love, thank you for traveling down from Albuquerque and participating with us in this great event. All of the other distinguished visitors, guests, family and friends that have joined us today, it's certainly my pleasure that it was scheduled after my arrival out here at White Sands, and I'm very proud to participate with you today in this significant event. Now this is, as Larry has mentioned, the last missile and rocket firing of the year, of the century, of the millennium. If we don't get this one right, we got next year. And it's significant, though, for a couple of other different reasons, I feel, and my experiences out here at White Sands. Number one, it is a multiple firing event. The Patriot is a surface-to-air interceptor defensive weapon system. The multiple launch rocket system is a surface-to-surface offensive type of capability for our field artillery forces. Both are very important to the United States Army and to the defense of our forces deployed worldwide.
2, 1, 0. Plus follows, plus 4, 5, 6. Two, 1, 0. Follows, plus 4, 5, 6.
The concept behind it and what they're trying to do with it, especially Fort Bragg and the theaters that we're going to be going to, rapid deployment type area. It's as a vehicle.
The capabilities that this high mobility artillery rocket system represents for the Army is exactly the way we're trying to transform the Army, which is into a lighter, more deployable, more versatile force. This is a C-1 transportable. That means you can put it on the kind of aircraft that we have the greatest number of to be able to get it into the theater rapidly, and obviously gives our soldiers a tremendous lethality on the battlefield, increases their survivability and our capabilities. That's the direction that General Shinseki and I have been trying to transform the Army into an Army that is much more deployable than it is today, but when it deploys has the staying power, the lethality on the battlefield that soldiers need to survive and be effective.
In 1992, White Sands Missile Range joined forces in sponsorship with the Army ROTC Department at New Mexico State University to mark this page in history by conducting a memorial march. This is the 12th year for the popular Memorial March, which recognizes the sacrifice made by thousands of service members overwhelmed by the Japanese in the Philippine Islands during World War II. Since its inception, the Memorial March has grown from about 100 participants in 1989 to over 3,000 this year. In 1997, Sergeant First Class James R. Elstad experienced the march and penned the following poem. My wife asks, why go to the desert and run 25 miles? My neighbors ask, why at your age? Let someone younger go. My co-workers ask, why wear combat boots in the desert? My children, born in the 70s and 80s, don't even know to ask why. My doctor looks at my feet and shakes his head. Why? The battling bastards of Bataan. No mama, no papa, no Uncle Sam.
And welcome to the dedication of the Cox Range Control Center.
White Sands is our preeminent test range. It is the one that is better than all the rest, and the question is, if it's so preeminent, why aren't we putting the funds into modernizing the instrumentation there and seeing to it that it's state-of-the-art? So this control center is a recognition of the fact that the Department of Defense and the Congress have stepped up to that responsibility. I think it's a clear indication that this range is here to stay, and that the role of this range in our defense, in meeting our defense needs, is recognized by the Department of Defense.
I want to thank you, and as we celebrate this special occasion, I wanted to take a special moment to congratulate the people of White Sands, Missile Range, and all of its dedicated employees for the cooperation and the coordination in making today's event a major success. It wasn't too long ago, in fact it seems like just yesterday, when General Jerry Laws took me on a tour of the old National Range Control Center, more commonly known as Building 300. Despite the problems with the building, which ranged from asbestos contamination and other serious defects, I saw some of the most dedicated and qualified personnel doing their job under the most difficult of circumstances. General Laws told me of the critical need for a new facility to house the communications equipment, the heart and soul of the entire range, and without a new communications and control center, the future of the National Range was in jeopardy.
Last summer I had the pleasure of touring this structure when it was in sort of its mid stages of being put together with the senator. And after that we went back to one of the rooms where they did some briefings for us. And one of the briefings that the former commanding general did for us focused specifically on the future of White Sands, what we need to do here to make the space competitive, make it fully capable of all of the T&E activities that would be expected of a range of this capacity in the coming years. And the senator took out a little piece of paper, scratched something on it, and passed it to me. And it said, quote, "We must work on this. This is the future." I think that sort of summarizes Senator Domenici's perspective on the work that we put into every year, ensuring that in his role as a member of the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, we get adequate funding specifically for the modernization and upgrades necessary at White Sands to ensure that they have the right tools to make our Army and indeed all of our services strong, to make sure that the weapon systems that those services are developing will perform as needed for the men and women in the field.
I want to express our gratitude for this honor bestowed upon our family. And I don't know that Jim Cox deserves this any more than any of the other ranchers within this range. There are some 200 families that were moved off their ranches and have paid a great price for this range to become Army land and is now, as I understand it, the largest overland test facility in the free world. And we're mighty proud of it.
follows, plus 4, 5, 6, 7.
2, 1, fire.